Okay.
Well, the other day, because I come late. That's not late. The last 5 minutes. Should be. How was the I really and then yeah, it's all. You know how to do it? Yeah. It's easy lah. For I mean for the software lah. Yang some part yang dia punya the extra pressure good lah. What is this lah? And then especially the subjective part right, you cannot simple. And this is the Malaysian guy. He has the objective, then he just go shooting and then he is like he do not work. Something like the Malaysian guy. Because I don't know, I have things yang relating to computer, I senang understand. Sebab dia kan just click. Cuma for me, I click also tidak bisa. Cuma masa I just feel kat dalam dia senang. Because just sometimes you punya tu dah okay, but when you running adjust, dia not really, but when you running adjust, it's okay. So I'm just, how come like this? Just swallow the pressure. I got dia jadi lagi banyak tu at first 4 and then negative 9. Oh my god, this is a account. And then last day ada tekan-tekan pasti dia tak tally kan ada the human one. I think I said because I yang every document ada yang tak ada sih. That one you just choose a name. This is mine. This one is your sticker you want. Just to put on your book. It's like hardwork. I think I want to put it. This one is for you to put in your. It's like but yeah, you see something. I thought this yours one is this. She wrote her name here also. I didn't know her name. You're right. EY yang datang hari. No. She wanted because she wanted a picture of this using the mascot, the small kid toy. I gave her the idea of the photo. But not go to the picture. No, I already. She got isolated because. I didn't talk to her also don't be in class. I didn't talk to her. You have that. You can join. But I can't join. I think you don't know what we're talking about. No, we're talking about my what did I say? Why? I'm not kind towards you. I didn't think you're kind of that. You lagi sebab. Can we take this out? Take lah. Whose fun is this actually? Mine. Can we take one thing out? So later, if let's say I want to wish myself happy birthday, then I say happy birthday Geraldine. Oh my god. It's too much lah. You know what people to do is like you memang macam agak sedih. Take so long people didn't tell me that. Then mereka you want to go and MC? Forever MC. You still got your pocket. I think MC every day forever.
Most of us who got into
like normal like yeah. So nice, for us, right? I can't remember when they took it. So already haven't even given us a my batch was not that
Slowly but surely, pressure is being
I remember when I
sector inside and outside the Eurozone.
Anyway, remove the video.
White. Yeah, I'm looking that. No, but still got white. Is it we take no, we take the back. No, how you want to take off the leg with your shirt? Okay, what? She just like scratch on the rock. She showed she don't cover her eyebrows anymore.
Okay. We continue our lecture from yesterday, going into Basel Committee. Yeah. We are in the topic on bank supervision. Two major international bank failure in 1974. Yeah, the Bangkok's Erstad and Franklin National Bank resulted in formation of a standing committee of bank supervisory authorities. Come. This part we're going to look into. You see, we are discussing about having a bank and in your local country, and then you have multinational bank, and then if there is a conflict between your central bank and the headquarters of that bank, there will be a problem. Who should the bank refer to? The bank will say, I report to my headquarters, whereas the central bank say you're operating in this country. So we need to have a body that makes certain rules, especially supervisory rules or prudential regulation, to ensure that all countries can follow them. And as a result, has been discussed long time ago, and one or two banks actually failed in 1970s. They can see the big changes when the bank failed, bank runs. In the 70s, when the bank failed, that means the bank will not allow you to come in, queue and withdraw your money. This will usually lead to social unrest. What is social unrest? You know, you run out of money, the only place you go and withdraw your money is the bank. And unlike now, we have ATM machine where we can actually withdraw the money or pay through our cards. In the 70s, you can only get the money from the bank. You have to queue there. And when the bank fail, societies have problems of getting their money from the bank. Other banks will close their doors because they know that sooner or later the queues will come. Yeah, and because of this, they saw major social unrest that happen. Once you don't have money, you start to overstock your supplies, worry, and people who were frustrated bring it to the streets, and then you have, well, it even happened in UK. I think 3 years ago, they broke into the shops, they loot, yeah, and but in UK you have to be very careful because now all the streets have CCTV, and the CCTV is very good at facial recognition. Yeah, every individual who is over 18 have a driving license. The facial recognition is in the database. So if they can't find your faces in the database, they'll publish it out for people to recognize you, to call them. Yeah. So the looting in UK, surprisingly, some who loot are actually there for fun, not really in a desperate situation. A few of them, the father was very rich, estate tycoon and all that, and then the children went to the shop there to loot, just broke into the shop, go inside, take the things out. But they forget inside shops or on the streets they all have CCTV. Yeah, that all happened. So all the banks come together and say, look, we need to have a war body to create supervision, and the authorities, relevant supervisory authorities from 10 countries, 10 G10 countries, Belgium, Canada, France, Germany. At the time, we have no European Union, so they come together. Belgium, Canada, France, Germany, Italian, Japan, Netherlands, Sweden, UK, and US, plus Luxembourg and Switzerland. It has a permanent secretary of 15 based at international settlements in Basel, and meets there for about once every 3 months. Yeah, the people who meet are the central bank governors. Yeah, and they do not want to impose their rules directly into the country. Which is why they invite the bank governors, central bank governors, to come to tell them that we should have this standard rule, and each of these bank central governors will implement in their country, so there won't be a question on overstepping the boundary. Yeah. Basel, I think, is in Netherlands, if I'm not mistaken. In Holland. The Bank for International Settlement is owned by Central Bank, and it does not participate in Basel policy making, provide venue for the committee secretariat, and for membership meetings. Traditionally, members came from Western Central Bank, but since 1994, there are 13 central banks from emerging markets. So these central banks, they are represented by their governor, and this governor, they just come, they look at current issues faced by banking sector in this country, usually between them and in overseas. Like, for example, I have set up my bank in your country, I find that this is giving me problem. So they bring this issue to Basel Committee. And most of the people who are at the Basel Committee are the bank governors, and they usually try to resolve it. Yeah, and once they have a solution, they tell each other, I'll go back to my country, I'll implement a new policy, you go back yours, you implement. So it is all largely depending on the governance to implement the changes or rules respectively. So Basel Committee do not interfere in your banking affairs of members' country. They do not interfere. That's how they preserve their integrity and their influence. Yeah. The main purpose of Basel Committee is to consider regulatory issues relating to activities of international bank in their member country. The objective is to use concordats and agreements to prevent any international banking operation from escaping effective supervision. Sometimes some big banks, they always try to look for a loophole. Like for example, in this country, the banks that we have here is controlled by central bank. Same in US, they are controlled by Federal Reserve. So Federal Reserve will put down some specific regulations about how you should operate, your capital adequacy level and all that. But this bank, sometimes they go overseas, they don't practice it. To the Federal Reserve, they tell them, we are not in US, we are actually in India or in Nigeria. So we are more free to, we are more of a position to listen to local central bank. And if local central bank are weak, they just implement their own banking rule and stretch as far as they can, they don't bother. So this is what Basel Committee is about. The central bank of the host country and the operating country will come together and tell them, look, this is what the banks are doing. They are trying to escape by looking at this loophole. I have a rule that specifies they cannot do this. They go to a country, they do it because they say they are not in the USO. So the Basel Committee will be a place where these issues will be brought out. So once the issue will be brought out, then they will implement policies to minimize banks from doing so. Objective of governance and supervision is just to make sure banks don't fail easily. They know the bank is an institution that is too big to fail. When they have a problem, government will come in and help them bail them out. And they're like being pampered, you know. So to avoid that kind of situation, the Basel Committee feels that they have to take action or discuss with other countries' bank governors to take action before it is too late. Yeah. Basel Committee was formed based on 1975 Basel Concordat, which is the first agreement. The home and host country were given supervisory responsibility as follows. In the country, you are the supervisor. If you want to monitor liquidity, solvency, and foreign bank subsidiary, foreign bank branch, foreign bank subsidiary on solvency, all the host country will have to monitor. That means the central bank. Yeah, if Citibank in Malaysia is operating, it is Bank Negara that has the jurisdiction on your solvency and your liquidity. Yeah, the Concordat also stressed that consolidated data should be used to supervise activities of a global bank to provide an accurate picture of performance. So, when bank prepare their financial statement had to include the consolidated financial figure. You cannot just show to the central bank your figures on those that you have been generating in Malaysia. You have to use all other figures from all other branches in the world to show to the extent of how you operate. Yeah. Because bank now can move the money easily, electronically. So they do not want at this moment you're showing you have certain amount of capital. Next moment you siphon it away to another place that you can lend it to the people. Whenever they ask for consolidated statement now, it should be at the press of a button. Anytime they press, it should be churned by the system. So this will avoid the bank from taking opportunity on the technology. And that is what they are doing, you know, in one MDB. they do not want the names of the account holder to appear. What they do is they use trust. They set up a trust. Trust has no name will not appear. So this trust will then buy properties and sell properties under the trust. So property will not be seen as this property is owned by this fellow, or this property is owned by this name. Who control the trust control these properties. So what happened is, in US they freeze the property that has been traced to this trust account. Even the movie that was produced by Granite, The Wolf on the Wall Street, isn't it? It was also traced to this account. So they now confiscate the properties, the movie rights, and the income. And what the people did now, the owners did now, is to change the trustee. So the trust originally fell in Cayman Islands, isn't it? Now they moved to Switzerland because Cayman Island information is with US. So they went to court in New Zealand to change the trustee name to some other people, because these people was related to be the account owners or person who authorized to move the funds from one MTP account. So he trying to change it to his family members, the Low Tech Joe. Trying to change it to his family members. If it is successful, which New Zealand court allow, so if trust name is successful, these few person can then take the property out and sold them and took the cash and send them away. So at the moment, you can see banking regulation, they have rules, but there is a way to go behind the rules, yeah, for some illegal transactions to take place, and for money laundering, yeah. So Concordat stressed the consolidated data should be used to supervise activities of global bank to provide accurate pictures of performance. The only difficult things nowadays is banking transactions are now all electronically controlled. But although that is the case, the software written for all these transactions still provide audit trail. So it's very easy for you to follow the traces where the money has gone. The advantage here is audit trail cannot be robbed easily. Big amount of money, you can't seem to withdraw it and carry yourself. Unless the only way is send through electronically through the IT system. But the disadvantage of this is once a person authorized to transfer the money, he can transfer it very quickly. Yeah, it's not physical, it's electronic. Today the money in Malaysia, tomorrow it can be in Russia. Next day it can be in China, following day it can be in US. So it can be transferred very quickly. That's the disadvantage. You need to find the banking account, the bank, before you can freeze that. But the trail allows you to do that. The disadvantage is it moves very fast. By the time you inquire that money is already moved to different account. You will catch up with the account, but it will take time. Yeah? So in 19th Special Committee, the committee approved revised special conduct when the gap in the supervision of foreign branches and subsidiaries came to light after Bianco Ambrosiano affair. This is another bank that bites the dust. Banco Ambrosiano Bank failed in 1982 after its chairman, Roberto Calvo, was found hanging in the Blackfriars Bridge in London. Depositors panicked upon hearing the news. A lifeboat rescue was launched by the Bank of Italy, but the bank was declared bankrupt in that year. Still not enough. Last time businesses, especially major businesses, when it failed, the owner usually kill themselves. The laws are like that. When he kill themselves, the authorities won't go after the family. Because of the love of family, they kill themselves. That's all. The head of family usually kill themselves. Nowadays it's different. Nowadays it's very different. They don't matter. The family doesn't matter to them. If you're caught, you pull everybody together. Everybody will go to jail together. Yeah. Last time it's always like that. If you borrow a lot of money, something wrong, you can't pay back. You don't want your families to be affected. You just kill yourself and say, I'm the one who did this. I already died. Don't go after the family. And laws will protect the family. Now no more. All have been changed. Yeah. The bank also like that. So the bank say, okay, you owe so much money, you die, you kill yourself, fine. Who is the receiver of your estate? Yeah, your successor. And then they trace how much money you will receive, and they will go after you. So there's no point killing yourself. It won't solve the problem. So the bank's Italian operation was taken over by a new bank, Novo Bianco Ambrosiano, the Luxembourg subsidiary. The Milan owned 69% of Banco Ambrosiano holding, also suffered a run on deposit, but the Italian central bank refused to inject any cash, nor would the Luxembourg Banking Commission. These banks too failed. If these two banks fail, lead to, you see, the bank get into a problem when they are operating in Luxembourg Bank, but it kind of problem is operating in London. And because of that, the central bank felt that no, this is they are not in my country. You are already in a foreign country. London Central Bank should help. Why should we? And then London Central Bank say this is the owner is not a UK resident. It is Italian. I mean, we don't have that kind of obligation to have this bank. So the help never come. The cash never resolved. Cash shortage problem never resolved. Cash shortage problem is a big problem. When you don't have cash shortage, people come to your door and withdraw their money. You say there's no money, these people will just got angry, social unrest, jump over your counter, take your employee as hostage, all their life saving is in your bank. So that's which is why, because of this incident, all the central bank governors come together and say, look, we got to talk. We got to sit down and talk. Sure, we cannot let a bank fail. Whether it is my bank operating in your country or your bank operating in my country, you need to have certain rules. When this kind of thing happen, the bank fail to meet their liquidity problem, who should inject the money? Who's responsible? Who should supervise that? Yeah, and this is where Concordat was revised so that home and host supervisor now have joint responsibility for solvency problems of their bank subsidiaries and liquidity problems from either a subsidiary or a branch. Solvency problem associated with any foreign bank are dealt with by the parent country's central bank. 1998 Basel Accord come up with a few regulations. There are Basel 1 and then of course there are Basel 2 and the latest is Basel 3. Yeah? Basel 1 Accord established a single set of capital adequacy standard for international bank. Since 1993, the arrival of new revised accord in 1998 accord will be known as Basel 1 henceforth. Basel 1 requires all international banks to set aside capital based on Basel risk asset ratio. In calculation, I'm going to show you that. The Basel risk asset ratio is your capital overweighted risk of the asset. That means if your assets are more liquid, the risk is lower. If your assets are less liquid, the risk will be higher. And they assign how much risk involved with any particular grouping of assets. Yeah? Calculation, we can see this. This is how they calculate the capital adequacy. Basel 1 capital adequacy will still be used in Basel 2 and Basel 3. Yeah, you have to use your capital from the bank, whereas divided by the assets owned by bank. Assets owned by bank are mostly the lending the bank give. Yeah, the capital here is defined tier 1 as core capital, which is your common equity share and all other equity share held by a bank, including their reserve. Reserve is the amount which you hold to do something in future, in case for something or to prepare for something. Tier 2 or supplementary capital consists of all other capital divided into upper tier 2 and lower tier 2. Upper tier 2 is preference stock, lower tier 2 is subordinated debt. Yeah? Because a company can be financed by equity or debt. So if you get it from equity, you call it tier 1. Yeah? And even preference share, you call it tier 1. Tier 2 is more when your company is financed by debt. Yeah, bank also borrow money. So if they have debenture, they have to separate it into tier 2. Then after you separate them in groupings, you assign the risk. The risk for cash is 0%. Risk goes higher when it is less liquid. Yeah, cash is more liquid, the risk is 0%. Bond issued by government is very strong, the risk is 20%. Uninsured mortgage, the risk is 50%. Uninsured mortgage means loans that do not have a title to back them up. Yeah, and all corporate loan is 100% risky. Yeah, corporation loans are undertaken by companies. Company has limited liability. If company fail, the loan will fail. You can't sue the owners. So corporate loans is more 100% risky. All Basel accounts require the capital adequacy to be set at 8%. Yeah, more than 8% means your bank will not meet the criteria. Less than 8%, no, more than 8% means you meet the criteria. Less than 8% means you do not meet the criteria. You are always affecting yourself. Yeah. The market risk is a risk that changes when the market prices will cause losses in position, both on and off balance sheet finance. Market price refers to the price of any instrument traded on exchange. The different form of market risk recognized in the amendment include equity price risk, interest rate risk, currency risk, commodity price risk. Yeah. So Basel account also wants bank to monitor market risk if they expose themselves too much to any of these instruments. Numerator of the Basel ratio, theta capital, tier 3 capital can be used by bank when computing the capital charge relating to market risk. So if you have some question, if they give you a market risk, let's say, then you will have tier 3 capital. I'll show you the calculation. Yeah, let's look at the tutorial.
You're overrating yourself. You cannot be like, oh, that's easy to understand, right? But actually, okay, maybe you're smart now, but it's still so you overrated yourself. Okay, that's all. So you're right. What is market risk? Nanti ask you a question, then you just ignore and look at it.
Yeah,
What
I
you
need to lie, man.
I forgot. Why cannot sit together? Yeah, that's no one want to sit with you. Did I ask you why can't they sit together? They say start at 7:30. But then you got refreshment. Then you ask them. Got refreshment. You know, like for me, I went for the first one. I went like 5 minutes early. But actually, like the not even in the middle, but that was I got some from my thing, but that was because they chopped for some college student. So we just wear like you need to wear like white dress or dress.
Okay, you want to take a short break before you try the calculation? Take a short break. Look at question 7 if you are free, question 7 and question 6. Yeah? If you want to take a short break, you go out first. Come back. 5 minutes.
Nasi goreng kampung. You know the yesterday we got show your picture. They really nice. You want to see? You can see it. Hey, this is her when she kena tangkap makan. Then this is her. So this one can discussion. Alright. For what? Oh yeah, got B this. Yeah. Chapter 3. But I got to print. What chapter did you do? 4. Banking institution. Got the no, I want this one. Just like tutorial 3 or something. Cannot. No way. You probably just be one. No, we need to discuss the money. Oh, jangan. Oh, you know for our SFM, right? We got intro also, right? Building, right? For recommendation, right? Each of us do no breakfast. It's you know what? If you want each of us do recommendation, then you don't consider doing your recommendation. Then you have others do the other parts because it won't be fair. Each do one page and then you ask us to do recommendation. I don't want to do why. That's that day, right? For IT, right? IT for your conclusion. I do for the because this is a recommendation, what? It's not because I want to do recommendation. Do recommendation for each of us. I will teach first one then. And then I need to read all of you to answer your 17. Then you answer the whole early. I want to conclusion, but I don't read it. Then don't do. I do introduction. Introduction is the same as the executive summary. Anything else? Yeah, that's yeah, we discussed it. He was like wondering what then we asked.
I want to finish it earlier.
Who asked you? Then if you just flip the page. So this is chapter 2 for recommendation. No, this was a long time ago. Right? Did you write? Upload yours and then by next week. On Friday. But you make sure you also upload. Yeah lah. I need to do anything you want to complain lagi. Recommendation. Recommendation is so easy. Like, it's not easy. I need to test on your case. Hey, hello. Okay, a 30-year-old person, be retirement plan. How difficult can it be to recommend?
No, I mean, how do I
And
know whether-
recommendation is
how do I know whether
not,
he's
is not
got-
specific to a particular individual. If you want to go specific to a particular individual, it's going to be very long.
Oh, yeah, but you just upload yours, sorry.
Anything else you want to complain?
Penat dengan dia.
Okay, thank you.
Really difficult.
You what?
It's not that if you wanted to do all recommendations.
Okay, I will do recommendation, but make sure you upload it.
So you have to write it down because Debbie doesn't know.
你老师在那边有微软，那你有微软。
You are when you marah until your whole thing merosot. That's why your shirt also merosot.
But this one is ready made. Just panaskan. At all. I don't know, but it's not
Correspondence, what I can tell you. You want to be angry with me or you want to be nice to yesterday? You can't be angry enough. Okay, if you want to do recommendation, right?
I will think you just do
How about in another area?
I will do
Or you do intro?
one conclusion, recommendation.
We'll include the recommendation.
It's better for people to
do a day.
It used to be called because you try to enter the conversation. Hey, can you lift up your hands up? Meaning the unnecessary stuff. Hey, go buy lunch just one shot.
Tata is basically a engineering company. And then, kalau you compare dengan yang lain, they do CSR. So dia bukan focus. Some company just focus on social, and then dia relate to dia punya company profit juga kan. And then mostly CSR is just to make sure tak ada accident, and then dia punya but Tata a lot education, people semua lah, environment. But mainly focus on kan, but Tata not. CSR is just because I asked someone, which I asked someone, and she asked me to answer. So I asked her, and then oh, must give you all the name. But dia tak bagi sampai hari ni kan, because usually he will forgot what he said. Hopefully dia lupa dia. You kena baca 2 kali baru faham. What the fuck?
She thinks you go so free. I was thinking like what? 1 week to do.
I don't know why.
She do and then we just copy and then done. Crazy.
the same age with us. 22. You don't look at
How old I look 90?
yeah, because some of macam Mia, like she's 23.
Yeah.
So I'm so confused. Siapa yang betul?
I'm the 24 years old. But it's still 21 lah. My birthday haven't.
Dia lagi tak.
22.
Alright.
How does it feel like that?
And then next year, no softball. Tanya Instagram. Yang keluar pergi kanan tu. Yang kiri terus je.
Pas airport complex.
Not airport complex. From India.
You go out.
Kanan airport complex. You kiri terus. So the right side. Before.
The building is up.
Yes. That's the town.
But there's like no shops inside.
Because we shared this with Ria.
Eh, vaccine too early like crazy. What do we do? No. It's really reasonable. Eh, you still got what?
Friday, Saturday,
You think
Sunday,
this is the only assignment I
Monday.
got? Crazy lah. They put got practice like this. How are you?
Oh, they did got practice also.
So you just now only got practice and you don't kesiankan.
I forgot. I only remember Jana got after they did got.
So you consider Jana also right?
So you got send me. Apa ni kira got send me to do.
You also got things to do, not only you. Okay, if you then we all give you your recommendation.
The one I want to do recommendation.
Good. Banyak semua yang baru. Sekejap nak sekejap.
Is it IB?
Another assignment.
Belum ada assignment.
Now,
Dia nak yang bilik satu.
last time I did the graduate
Last semester is short semester.
that means you took long time.
Last semester kan. Jumpa. Ikut.
Even one subject I took last semester, so I can't remember. You remember?
Two subject.
Yeah. I don't drink.
Motivation theory in 9. Bukan lah. Bukan. Sini balik.
How the device will do complaining and want to go out. Cry. She said this. You are she ready to hear she's standing to now. She's not you. She's not going to see her face. She pretending to smile. It's just at the side.